How was your boating or whatever?
It's good. My son wants to. He's only 11, but I have my old wakeboard, so now he's like, "I want to do it, Dad." I'm like, "I don't know," you
How
know.
old?
He's only 11,
11. Oh,
so I'm
fair
like,
enough.
"Is that too young for wakeboarding?" I don't know.
Eh, not if
I
you're
figure.
there.
Do you go on the lake at all with your
Mm-mm.
kids? No.
No. I avoid lakes like crazy. I grew up around Lake Michigan. I've had it. No, the kids love swimming. We've got the pool here, so I'm just like, all right, go.
Oh, yeah, I hear you, man. Hey,
Yeah.
man. Well, thank you for being on the show. I guess we're just going ahead and go. But anyway, how's your day? How's it going today? Busy?
Today's going okay. Yeah, I had to take some bottles back, and the kids are beating the crap out of each other upstairs. But yesterday was pretty cool because we threw a fake seventh birthday for my 6-year-old daughter because her birthday is the 4th of July weekend.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
none of her classmates are going to be in town or want to do anything. So we kind of faked it yesterday and threw it. So we had a great time. She had a great time because she hasn't really got to spend any time out of school with any friends or anything.
Mm. How
So,
old is she?
she turns 7 in a week, but she turned 7 yesterday to her school.
Yeah. I feel like the older they get, the parties, like, wind down a little bit more. I don't know, that's how it is in my world.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
when they were younger, man, it was like these huge, like, 15, 20 kids.
yeah, yeah. I think yesterday was like 12 at a bowling alley that has a real big arcade in it and stuff. So it was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I grew up, being a fan of Taproot. I remember seeing you guys, way back in the day.
Right on.
So this is really cool to have you on Good Company, man.
Well, yeah, when I looked at the roster of stuff you've done, I appreciate helping our lame ass out.
No, dude. I think back in the day, do you remember a guy named Cowboy that, was like a roadie back in the day?
Hmm.
You do remember him, okay.
I can't picture him, but I know the name. I remember.
Yeah,
I
so he
remember.
used to roadie for, like, Nonpoint. I don't know why I just remember this, but he would, like, me and my buddies, he'd be like, "I'll get you backstage, but you gotta help me load all the gear and stuff." But I'm
It's a
wondering
good.
if he did that for you guys, I can't remember.
No, I don't think straight for us, but I know we've been around him quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, so making an album with a family, like, I'm trying to picture, like, how hard that must be, in 2023. Was that something you just had to juggle your time with? With writing and recording and everything?
Yeah, I actually started recording the record in 2016. I could only work 3 or 4 hours a week because I was doing the full time job, and then some of the weekend with the kids. I had a day off while they were in school, so on Friday mornings I could go in for like 4 hours. I'd go in at like 5 in the morning once a week for like 6 years.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I did
5
the
in the
math.
morning.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when I did the math, because I did everything on my own. So when I did the math at the end of the 6 years, whatever it took, it like added up to being 16-hour days with four guys doing the same stuff. So it ended up being the same amount of time. It just took 6 years instead of 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to imagine, like, how much coffee you consume or, like, what you do to wake up at 5 in the morning to, make music. There you go. You should get s
Monster,
Yeah.
monster dip and cigarettes. Oh wait, I didn't say dip. Don't tell my
No,
wife.
yeah.
Don't tell my wife.
So when you recorded this, I think I heard that were you thinking about doing this as a solo thing at first?
That's why I started it. I did the entire record. It was like I was kind of just gonna put it out for a couple thousand people that followed me if they wanted to care to listen. But um, 80% of the songs I wrote to be the next Taproot record back in 2012, before shit hit the fan with one of our bandmates, and no one could work with him any longer. But no,
Mm,
I
mhm.
wrote this to be released, and Phil's had like 80% of the songs, just the demos I did. He's known the songs the whole time, and he was the one that was like, "Bro, you can't release this just as a solo thing. You wrote this to be Taproot's next record. This has to be Taproot's next record." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So then it turned into a bigger ordeal than I expected, and then we started getting shows, and we're like, "Okay, cool. Well, let's figure it out."
Yeah, when you're writing, do you write all the parts? I mean, I know you're a drummer,
Mm.
right? So you do the drum kinda get the beats what you want in the guitar and
Yeah, yeah. I usually start with the guitar and then try to figure out. I mean, for me, the drums are, I don't sit and write a drum beat first. I just know exactly what I'm going to be doing when I'm writing a guitar riff. So it's kind of like in
Yeah.
my head, I'm already jamming with myself. So it's usually guitars, then lyrics, try to make it fit, and I already know what the drums are going to be just based on the guitar riffs.
Oh, dude, man, that sounds like Dave Grohl or something. Like it's like a
Right on.
pressure on your drummer. Feel like here's what you got to play. Or do you give what you Jared, your drummer's Jared. Do you let him have kind of free range, or do you tell him what you want? Kind of meet halfway.
No, it's like even when we were doing the full on band stuff, I always did all the demo drums on my own. I have a certain style that he would play, but I definitely let him kind of change it up and do his own thing. He'd get the generic idea of like, here's what I'm thinking. And, he'd take some steps and do some different stuff, but
Right.
he knew what to do. I mean, it was he does great.
Is there any like footage of you playing drums like back in the day? Like people can see?
I know I posted one of me being a numbskull when we were doing the episodes. I was on because I'm when I got if I would have kept playing drums and not getting forced into singing, and I would have kept playing drums around the time of 17 or 18, I would have been on like one of the top drummers, like for sure. Like I was playing the Slipknot type of drumming when I was like 17
Wow.
before I knew of Slipknot. So
Yeah.
I'm a numbskull, so the guys had to tone me down when we were doing the episodes. I was doing way too much double bassy. Like, "Hey, come on, Steve, stop." I'm like,
Wh
all right.
When you're talking about episodes, you talking about this guy? Like you put all your music out? 'Cause I see
No.
episodes on here, but maybe
Yeah,
that's different.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are like I think the outtakes or the demo versions of the episodes. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's me. That's me playing drums in the basement of my house, and there's only 4 drum mics. That's why when I did this record, um, I had to I had to end up cheating because I only had enough time. So I flew in my drum parts, but I only had, like 4 microphones on the entire
Mm.
kit. So it sounds like crap. That's why I think it says shitty version, great version on the back of that. So so I ended up flying in the beats and stuff, but then I used a machine just to like program it because A, it would sound better and I could pick what I wanted, and B, it was just easier to like be on time perfect because I never played to a click track when I wrote songs.
Right
So
on.
it's like half me, half robot this time on Scissors. It's like me writing the beats and playing the beats on the
Mhm.
demos, but then what you hear is actually quality.
Right. Yeah. Well, that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
And so working with Elias on Favorite Song, was that, did you have him in mind when you're putting the song together?
Absolutely. It was kind of weird. It didn't occur to me until after. I mean, I had that song, I knew I wanted someone to come in and just help that part out because it's just one of those parts that I'm like, I don't know. I wrote the weirdest time signature thing that even the guys had like took quite a while to get the rhythm down and how it goes. And so
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what I'm going to sing over this because at the time I thought I'd be playing guitar for that song too. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this. So when I used to do a lot of Instagram lives like once a week and where I'd just be completely shit faced. So I'd be asking fans, I'd be like, who would be a good one? Who would be a good one? And there was, this person, but Elias was always like the go to guy. And I was like, fuck yeah, I can get a hold of him because I talked to Rob still. Got a
Yeah.
hold of him. He was like, absolutely. And so I sent him the stuff and he literally just I had him change maybe 2 or 3 words to get it more into what I was leaning for the meaning, but it was like he wrote 98% of it.
Oh,
And
that's cool. See,
yeah,
he wrote the I was thinking you did for some reason, but yeah, he wrote
no,
it. That's cool.
yeah, I was like, I don't have anything for this, but here's what the song means, and it means nothing. So that's kind of the point. So if you want to come in and make it mean something, then sweet. Um, but it was cool because in hindsight, it didn't occur to me. But on the real heavy riff, the real taprooty riff that I always write, I made and like a conscious decision to just have it be 4 on the floor instead of like drum wise. That's what the
Yeah.
guitar is doing. But I went to the like 4 on the floor, and that was
Mhm.
like when I wrote that. I actually remembered thinking of Rob from Non Point, like just the way he used to just be
That style.
4 on the floor. And so that
Yeah.
was really, and then I was like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah, man. I love well, I got a couple questions. So when you guys played that song, first time you played that song was in Madison, right? Some kind of it was like outdoor festival. Was that
Yeah,
am I get that right? It looked like it was just 1,000 degrees.
that was a bad one. I think we'd probably played the song 2 times live, but that was the first time we played it live with Elias.
Elias, yeah, that's my man. I'm sorry. But
No.
how brutal was that show, man? Because it looked like I mean you were just so and looked like it was just miserable hot. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if it
Yeah,
was or wasn't.
it was, but, you know, even after taking so many years off, it's just kinda used to it, and I just when I'm on stage, you know, singing good is like my second quality. I love having energy, and I don't let the heat get to me because I go up on stage on some port wine, so I don't get hurt when I jumped out in the crowd and
Yeah,
all
okay. So it numbs it up a little.
yeah. I go out to have fun. I mean, I got better at singing over time, but that's definitely still I go out there and try to have fun with the kids.
Dude, you have a great voice, man.
Or
Very unique.
our grandparents. God, it's getting scary when we're going to shows and like, "Oh, my grandpa got me into you guys." Like,
Oh, really? That's wild, huh?
it's usually just dad, but still, it's crazy. But thank you. I appreciate the voice comment. I try.
Oh, no, man. It is great. Have you always felt comfortable in front of, like, large crowds and stuff? Or have you ever get, like, jitters or get nervous throughout your career? Or just something you're comfortable with?
No, it would have been like high school speeches and stuff like that. I was really
Yeah, that's
awkward.
terrifying.
I was a terrible student. Like everything just sucked. But you know, it took a couple years for us to get signed, but we got more confident, like with the local shows, and then we started getting bigger and bigger, and so that was kind of like second nature. I think when we opened for System of a Down for our big break, that was probably kind of unnerving, but it's kind of just try my best and try to make the people connect, I guess. I mean,
Wow, yeah, man.
it's a two-way street. It's not me. It's not about me. It's, you know, just hopefully I do well for them and I'm fine with it.
So Taproot is, like, the only band you've been in, right? That's what it sounds like, unless there was something before Taproot.
I was in a ton of bands before Taproot. Taproot's the one I got forced into singing. Actually, you know, because we claim that Taproot was founded in '97,
Mm.
but I was actually the original drummer from the original version of Taproot, which is in '95, and we sounded way more like Korn meets Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is that when I first heard, I was in LA with Fred Durst at the Interscope, you know, record release listen to Significant Other, and I hadn't heard Nookie yet. And when I heard Nookie, I kind of cringed because our formula after, you know, when we started as this version of Taproot, it was our formula was using drum machine for the verses. So then when the choruses kick in, it's, you know, full on band rocking out and then chill for the verses. And when I heard Nookie, I was like, oh God, because they'd had our demos forever. I'm like, you fucking shit.
Oh,
So
yeah. So you
we
think
kind of
they kinda maybe got heavily influenced by your demos in a nice way.
yeah, I mean, Fred loved Again and Again. He used to sing that all the time.
Yeah.
But you know, there were a couple tracks they had where you know it was noticeable that it was fake drum machine just to you know rap and sing along to. But then when the chorus comes in, everyone's going at it.
Mm.
So we just
Who
kind of figured out stuff.
I wanna talk about, Fred Durst for sure, but, before we get there, who was it Tom Hazard that discovered you first, or was it Fred Durst? Because I know I got these little cassette tapes I found in my closet, man. Do you remember these? I used
Uh,
to hand them out at shows and stuff. It's pretty cool.
right. No, it was. Yeah. No, Tom was definitely street teaming back then. He's actually managing us right now. But no, back in the day, we got a big we got really big around Ann Arbor, and one of our fans knew Fred and knew the Biscuit guys, and so Fred was interested. We spoke with Fred for a little while, but then that's when we got to Fred first, and then Bino and Velvet Hammer, which were the ones that started passing those tapes out and stuff. Because Bino, you know, manages every single good band in the world right now.
Wow,
But
yeah.
back then it was just System of a Down. So we got to open for System of a Down. And because of one of the buddies that worked for their street team in Michigan, but we were just still local. He
Mhm.
got Bino to let us open, and Mark, our day-to-day manager, came in, watched us, and got right on the phone and was like, "Ooh, we got to get these guys to LA." And that's what pissed Fred off, because I know the phone call, like everyone's like, "So are you still mad at Fred?" I'm like, I understand why Fred got mad. We didn't
Right.
intentionally fuck him over. He could see it that way, but
Mhm.
I'm still a Biscuit fan. Like, I was on stage. I posted a couple of pictures on my Instagram. I was on stage next to Mike from Stained, and they reached out and shit. And when I zoomed in on the picture, Fred's just giving me a glare. Like,
He
I thought he was
was?
just
To
walking
this
by.
day? Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I was hoping that he'd ask me to come out, like, for Stuck, like, to come sing or something, like, because I
Mhm.
think, as much as his fans wouldn't care, I think it would be like huge news for everyone. Like, okay, they finally squashed it. But I've never had a problem with Fred. I get his point, because we went with Bino and we auditioned for, all the labels, and we went with Atlantic because Fred was at that time only offering a demo deal, like record 2 or 3 songs and see if
Mhm.
we're gonna get signed. But we got an offer to get signed to Atlantic, and we were like,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just a better deal. Yeah.
yeah.
And then
So
people that don't know, like, he left you this long voicemail and that, it's still it's funny about voicemail. So you had an actual voicemail, like, because when I was a kid or when I was younger, it used to be like a little cassette tape, or like a play. Is that what you had?
micro cassette, yeah.
Yeah, micro cassette. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was at my mom's house. And I swear on my mom, who's gone right now, I don't know how
Mm.
that got out, because it was literally a micro cassette that only my mom and I had at some point. And I never once packed that thing up and took it to LA and was like, we got to do something with this. Like, I
Mhm.
never did that whatsoever. It came out. I'm like, oh my God, really? Like,
That's nuts. Like, how did
unless my mom did it.
somebody, like, broke into your house and took that cassette tape? Kinda like the Tommy and Pam, the
Right,
the
right,
porn
yeah.
tape?
Oh
They
God.
just got your they just got your little your micro cassette tape.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure. Like, I honestly don't understand how it worked, because I wouldn't have done that, because I got why Fred was mad, because he
Mm.
thought that we fucked him over, and he had only helped us out up to that point. But like I said, I've never had a problem with him. I get why he was mad, but there's no issue on our end. I'm still a fan. I loved watching him play. That's why I was hoping he'd be like, "Come on out for Stuck. Let's get this over with." But he was just like,
Yeah, that'd been awesome. Did
like
you see him backstage at all? Or, I mean, was it you just saw him on stage?
I just saw him on stage. We went up for like 3 or 4 songs, because our old guitar tech, because Wes is guitar tech now, and
Oh,
so
cool.
obviously their show's a little bit harder to get on the stage for. But Cadaver brought us up, and it was cool. I still those guys are fucking killer live. And
I know, man. Yeah,
they,
it's crazy.
they,
They took so much time off, and then now they're just blowing up.
yep, no, that's killer, and I'm happy for them. I was glad to get to. I mean, we've played a couple festival shows with them over the years. I've only come across them maybe once backstage, and it was kind of like, "Can I talk to you, or are you that pissed still?" And it was just like, in the dining area, and I'd always get my shit to go. I'd never want to sit down, because I've never been really all that social. Like, I haven't really
Right.
stayed in touch with too many people. I'm just kind of a lonesome loser. So, like, unless you want to talk about hockey or something, I don't know what to say.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed you wear a lot of hockey jerseys a lot too, man. Yeah, so, you're into hockey?
Oh yeah, yeah. I started hockey before I started drums, and I started drums at 5. I started hockey at 3, I think.
Wow. To this day, I've never been to a hockey game. I need to try it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a game changer. A lot of people, because on it's not as boring as baseball to watch on TV. It's still,
Mhm.
like, oh wow, this is crazy. Ooh, that was a big hit, or wow, they're fighting and they only have to go to a box for 5 minutes. But if they do that on the street, you're getting arrested. I'm like, that's a sport.
Yeah, dude. So did you ever you fought like fight people while you were playing hockey?
Yeah, not too many times, but I've had a couple scraps. I mean, I have a permanently boxer knuckle. I don't know if you can tell,
Whoa,
but
yeah, yeah. See, man.
yeah, hitting too many helmets.
I always think of Adam Sandler when I'm trying to remember what movie that was. Happy Gilmore, one of those movies?
Yeah, Happy Gilmore. Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep. That was good stuff. For
So
sure.
Tom, I've had Tom Hazard on the show, man. How did you guys meet him? I mean, was he was just in the scene back then?
Yeah, it was always the craziest thing, because Phil was talking to him, I think, basically about the album that you had up a second ago, because Jared was the first one to release the best of besides or
Oh yeah.
besides. And then for some reason, Tom wanted to jump on board. Oh, Tom wanted to make Taproot skateboards. So
Yes, he did too. I've
yeah,
seen him. That's cool.
so Phil started talking to him about that first, and then I think he brought up how I had the record done and whatever. So Tom jumped on this, but it was weird because back in like the Ozfest days, he knew every band. And, like
Yeah.
he doesn't look any different right now than he did back then.
You're right, dude. Yeah, he looks the exact same.
Like good for him, but
A little
like
more gray in the beard. That's about it, probably.
just a little same hair. That's probably the exact same hair and the same beard that just got a
Same
little
dreads,
gray.
yeah.
But for sure, yeah. So we always knew who he was, and then when it came to the record, he started contacting me and stuff, and so now we're in the know of each other a lot better than it was just like, hey, you're that guy.
Yeah, man. Going back, you said you opened for System of a Down, which is really cool. Did you ever get to play a show with Snot back in the day, or is that, before you were touring?
I wish. No, I only got to see them play once in Detroit. I went to see them. It was them and Head PE, of course, and then we've played a million shows with Head PE by now.
Oh
But
yeah.
it was cool. It was a good show, and I mean, I never really got to know Lynn, but yeah, we never got to play a show with Snot.
Yeah, man. That's unfortunate that I always wonder where they would be at now if they were still found, man.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so probably everybody asks you this, but the Lane Staley song, I'm trying to think of the name of the song, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
That what a story, man.
bad. That's a bad title these days too. Oh.
I know, yeah. He's trying to he is definitely canceled, right? But he's trying to come back.
I think he is. I think he'll be okay. It's just tainted. I was like, oh God, I guess we'll just call it Spacey. But yeah, no,
Oh yeah, that's funny.
that was a crazy story. That was like for the when I was talking about favorite song where Elias did the bridge. That was just one of
Mhm.
those parts where I'm just like, I love what's going on, and we're making it kind of a ethereal or ethereal type of song, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with it. And that's when Toby, who used to produce Alice, he did our second two records. He was like, I know the solution for this, and because he knew Lane wasn't doing really good, he was like getting close to done
Yeah.
clearly, and yeah, Toby and I were 2 days away from flying to Lane's place in Olympia when his mom called Toby and said they found him, and it had already been 2 weeks. But that's when she asked who Taproot was because that was the only CD that he had in his entire place.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she called and asked who we were. So that I don't know. It's a bummer. That would have been really cool because
Mhm.
Toby was gonna make it happen. I think Lane, it wasn't like anti Taproot or anti doing anything. I just at that point believe he was just kind of really unmotivated to do anything. So Toby really wanted to try to get him to do something and bring him back a little bit.
Yeah, kind of inspire
So
him. Yeah.
that would have been amazing because obviously he's one of the best singers in our type of music ever.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine because if he laid something down, obviously he'd be doing plenty of his own harmonies, but then I would have loved to jump in on that knowing what he's singing. Then I know what to do, but I was just like, I don't know what to do. I think we had Cameron from American Head Charge come in and try doing some stuff, and we were just like, this was for Lane.
Mm. You had lyrics for it though, for the song, or because I know it's instrumental right now.
It's instrumental. No, that was going to be all Lane. Like, just sing what you sing, and I'll do a couple low harmonies when you're not paying attention.
When
Because
you
I know.
mentioned Oh yeah, keep going, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say because I know if he actually had the chance to have sang, I know that he would already had two or three harmonies going on. But there's no way I'm not gonna jump on and harmonize with him.
I mean, I can't help when I'm listening to that song, I can't help just to I kind of try to imagine what he would be doing, how would it sound and what he would come up with. Toby Wright, man, that was on your second album, right? Welcome?
Yep, yep.
The first album was amazing, by the way, Gift. That album never gets old. I just wanted to tell you that, man.
Thank you, thank you. And
Mirrors Reflect is that's like my favorite song on there, but,
that
they're all good.
that used to be our opener all the time. That's one of the weird things that a lot of people don't realize is that Gift is literally we only wrote one new song for that record. The rest of that album is what we were playing for years locally. And so it was
What song was it that you wrote for it?
Now.
The new one. Now, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was the only song that was written for that. Everything else was just re-recording demos and hope they sounded better. And half of it did, half of it were just like, yeah, still great, whatever. fuck you, Napster.
Oh, yeah. Yes, man. So I was thinking about this earlier that you guys were kind of coming around when Napster was coming around, right? I mean, it was around the same time.
Yeah.
But at that time, people were still buying CDs, right? I mean, this is before streaming really took over.
Oh yeah, yeah. It just kind of was like took a little bit. I think we could have actually hit a gold record. I think we ended up selling like 370,000, and obviously that's just not matter. But it would have been cool to have like, hey, you have an achievement.
Right.
Like, I mean, all the shows and tours we've done, we know we had the achievement, but I don't have anything to hang up except my Linkin Park one.
You have a Linkin Park one? How'd you get that?
I wrote and sang the remix of "Pushing Me Away" on Reanimation, and for that it was really cool because they had different guest artists do different things on each and every song, and Mike, they were fans of ours. They opened for us, so Mike was like, "Dude, can you just lay something down?" And I laid down the lyrics and the 3-part harmonies, and they were just like, whoa. And so it turned out to be like after the release of Reanimation, my song was the only one that they actually changed to the remix version live. Like, they played all the other songs, but whenever they played Pushing Me Away, it was always my version. And they'd always have the opening band singer come out and do the 3rd part harmony. So I always thought that was awesome. Like, really cool.
Dude, that
Yeah.
is amazing, man. I
Mhm.
can't wait to go back and revisit that.
Right on.
And you know what? I was thinking, like you said for Gift that you didn't get an award for, but can't they go back and do a recount? I mean, is it like, I mean, I've always heard that if you can, I think you had to pay them or something, but they can go back and count how many albums you sold, and
I think just to
who
be
knows?
idiots. I think we're trying to do that for Welcome. It's doesn't really matter. Tom, he just wants to. No, I got to do this. He wants to make sure. I mean, literally, Welcome was only maybe 30,000 short of
Oh,
sales,
wow. Yeah.
and so then it turns into this political. Hey, let's do a recount voting. It's fine. We're good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely political.
We're fine. It's all good.
Working with Toby, was that intense? I know he was pretty hard on Jared about the drums, right? I think I heard in an old interview that he was pretty tough on the sound, maybe, or maybe I'm just imagining that.
Uh, no, I mean, he was pretty rough on, most of us. I mean, I didn't get too much flack. He'd just guide me more, like, try this. Right, try that. And I'm
Mm.
wide open to it. But when it came to yeah, he was pretty firm on Jared, I guess, because there were multiple times that, he said that I might have to play the part.
Mm.
But Jared, stuck to his guns, kept going, and then nailed it and stuff. Yeah, there have been a couple times that I have kind of recorded some stuff without people knowing.
Oh, yeah? Does that cause tension or anything, or is it just cool, like, you kind of everybody understands?
Usually it's not well known.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I just found out that Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue didn't, or I read that he didn't play bass on the first few Motley Crue albums, so that was a surprise. I didn't know that.
That is crazy to me too, and that's crazy. Another stupid thing about my life in music was like growing up, Nikki Sixx and John Taylor from Duran Duran were like my idols, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wait, bassists were my idols? Whoa, like that's crazy. But yeah, that I didn't know that. No
Your bass player, though, is great, Phil, man. He's got, like, I've always remember him having, like, the backpack,
harness.
bass yeah, harness.
Yep, yeah, he's still rocking that thing for sure.
Yeah, man. I guess it's better for your back, maybe. I don't know, gives you more support or
That's
something.
yeah, that's what he did, and it kind of gives him a it's hard to be a bassist and kind of rock out and look cool.
Right.
So at least it gives him an excuse to have his move with the whole swinging thing and getting up and down. He doesn't have to jump and do the double kick, and he just
Yeah.
goes down and swings. So no,
Yeah, that's right on, man. How did you guys know when you wrote Poem, did you knew that was gonna be, like, put that out first, it was gonna be a big single?
I wrote it to be a single as a joke to show how easy it kind of is. I wrote that on the bus on the first Ozfest in like 5 minutes and recorded the demo just on a crappy little 8 track that we had back then. And when management heard it, we still had like 3 or 4 more shows to go on the first Ozfest before we even went to start working on Welcome. And we already played it. And that was like, people that didn't know it didn't know they didn't know it and were going like crazy, and so everyone was like, oh my god. And then I'm learning from people that the way I think about stuff is, not exactly how normal people think about it, because to me the hook was in case of fire break the glass, because everyone knows that.
Right.
But everyone points out to me that this song is a poem to myself, is what like catches them like right away. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, good to know. Like that's why I thought favorite song might have a chance. Nothing does at radio anymore, but like that song, I don't think anyone can relate to not knowing words to their favorite songs.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
so I thought that would catch, but it's harder to catch anything these
It
days.
should catch, man. That song's so freaking catchy, man.
Right on. Yeah, I went for like, hey, let's start with a chorus, short verse, back to the chorus, short verse,
Yeah.
chorus, double chorus, bridge, Elias, sweet, chorus, chorus.
That reminds me of when Deftones were talking, when Gino was talking about back to school. He said something very similar to you, that he was like, I just want to show him how easy it was to write a hit, and he said he wrote
Right
it really fast.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Like literally on the bus, I wrote the chorus. In case of fire, that's what popped in my head. So I was like, all right, well, this is everything. Well, I wrote the chorus like serious, like I thought it was catchy, thought it was cool. But then the
yeah, man.
verses to me, the verses mean a lot to me, but it's more wah boo hoo. So
Mm.
the chorus fits in, but the verses are just like, huh, I have to tie up 8 lines before going to the. All right, let's write something about panic attacks. Shit. But lyrically it's meaningful, but it was, just writing the chorus within like 5 minutes, and everyone's like, dude, oh yeah, dude. So
Have you ever had a panic attack before? By the way, I mean, you know how to answer that, but
no,
those are serious, man. Yeah.
yeah, no, I have seizures because of them now. I've had panic attacks for quite some time. And I'm on a suspended license right now, so I can't drive because
Seizure. Yeah, man. That's
luckily I can tell when seizures are coming on, because they are from panic attacks for me. Like panic
mhm.
attacks for me aren't, like when most people are like, I can't
Yeah.
breathe. That's not what I have. Like I enter a different reality, and it feels like life isn't real, and like I'm being shown all the wrong things. It's like weird. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
my body got to the point after years and years of not knowing how to handle it, then my body just shuts off. So now I suffer from seizures. And
Have you ever had to reschedule a show or anything because of that? Does it ever affect you guys on tour?
yep, the CD release party for the episodes back in 2012, we were doing at the machine shop in Flint, which became like our hometown base. I had to cancel. Well, I had a seizure that day before even driving up to Flint. I had a seizure. It was Grand Mal, and that was the second seizure I ever had, but the second, first one in Michigan, and that was the record release day. So they had to cancel our record release.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
When you
I've
when
had a.
you yeah.
Oh, go for it. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, when you have one, does that take, like, a few days to recover from, or is it like you have it, you kinda move past, or do you feel out of it? I've never had one before. I don't know, like, if what it
The
feels like
Grand
afterwards.
Mals, yeah, the Grand Mals, the real big ones. I've only had 2 of those. Those are like real bad. It's to the point now where it sucks because I went 6 years working my normal job. I had one at work, but I worked there 8 years, but I went 6 years until this last one that I am suspended license right now because it fucking sucked. I knew it was coming while I was driving, and I got so nervous I ended up sideswiping a car as I was trying to figure out where to go to like
Where to get
stop
off the road.
the car.
Yeah.
So I mean, luckily it wasn't like a crash or anything, but I swiped the car. Luckily a cop was right there. But I made a right turn, threw it into park, turned the gas off, like was waving at the cop. I'm like, I'm sure he thinks, what the hell is this guy doing? But when he got up to the window, I was like, dude, I think I'm gonna have a seizure. I'm like smoking, and he's like, as I'm starting to go into the seizure, like I made a joke. I'm smoking. I don't smoke in the car, but I just knew it was coming. So I'm like, smoke, Klonopin, try to do anything.
Mhm.
But so I was smoking, and I remember he was like, "Sir, drop the cigarette. Sir, drop the cigarette." And I was like, "I don't want to litter."
You said that? Yeah,
So I said, "Yeah, I don't want to litter," and then I ended up having the seizure. But yeah, so
yeah.
I get to drive again on June 27th. Although without the Ann Arbor police knowing, I will have to pick my wife up tonight.
Oh, yeah. Good
So
luck with that.
thank
Well,
you.
this won't be out for a while, so
Right. Okay.
yeah,
Fair enough. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, but, yeah,
Yeah.
man. So, oh, I love how at the beginning of the favorite song, what made you decide to throw in the, "Hey, Alexa, play Taproot"? That's pretty
Oh,
interesting. I like that.
at the end of that, yeah. I
Yeah,
wish,
yeah, yeah.
in hindsight, I guess I wish I would have done "Hey Siri."
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
I guess that would've worked better because I was trying to just piss people off and have their phones, like, randomly go
yeah.
off and shit. I
Yeah,
mean,
dude.
I've heard it happens at people's house occasionally, but
Yeah.
I guess I should have done Siri just to make people, "God damn it, phone. Fuck.
Yeah.
You're playing Taproot again? Ugh."
I love this song also, I think it's called "No One to Blame." It's like 3rd
Mhm.
or 4th song on them.
Yeah, no one else to blame,
No
yeah.
One Else to Blame. That's a killer song. I kinda got the, Deftones kind of vibe from it. I don't know, that could just be me, but I thought it was a really good song, man.
Fair enough, thank you. Yeah, that seems to be a lot of people's go-to for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a great song to me, I guess. Like, but I think the lyrics are pretty important, especially with my 13-year-old, because it's kind of about the bullying and trying to fit in, and like, just be okay. Don't let people bring you that far down to where you're not doing so good.
Yeah.
So I always play that for her when she's getting picked on or whatever, and she's like, "Yeah, fuck those people."
Right on.
Yeah,
Do your kids listen to Taproot at all? Like, besides that, you know?
they for the 6 long years, that's, like, literally the only thing I would listen to is stuff that I was doing in the studio just to critique it, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
they'd hear, like, my wife cannot stand hearing favorite song. She cannot stand hearing favorite song. But, I was really focused on making that one real important, and, if I'd go to the studio at 5 in the morning one week, and then I'd go back the next week, I'm like, "Oh god," like, "Change the EQ here, do this, listen to it in the car, listen to it in the car," like, so Ginger Baby, the one that's about to turn 7, she's been hearing it since she was, like, 2 or 3, and she's always, like, sang along, she sings on key, and she started doing this when she was, like, 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, Ray's really into it. I've done a couple guest vocals. It's kinda weird that the one I have to go drive get my wife. Luckily, the studio I work at is, like, kinda back roads in a small town, so I have gone there quite a few times. So I did a guest vocals on a song called "Goodbye," which isn't gonna come out for a while, with a guy named, Wes Anderson, not the director.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you can check his stuff out. It's songs by Wes, but,
Oh, cool, man. I'll definitely put some links on that. That's awesome.
right on. And then so I'm actually working on a second song with him right now, and it's written about the seizure day, like,
Mm.
because that was supposed to be a good date night for my wife and I was on my way to pick her up to go see one of our Blue Man friends, play with a concert in Wyandotte. So I was going to pick her up so we could go stay at an Airbnb, have a good time, get away, and then it was, oh shit. So
Yeah.
put a damper
That'd
on
be
that. So I'm the song I'm writing right now is because I went 6 years without one. I thought I was over it, and so I'm turning it into kind of like a love song where this seizure has been looking for me for so long, like an ex. That, I've been trying to find you. I've been trying to find you. Haven't you missed me? Haven't you missed me? And I'm like, fuck you, get out of my life. Why did you do this to me? Why'd you do this to me? So it's
yeah.
like kind of like a love song toward me from the seizure, but I'm telling the seizure to leave me alone. And so it's
Oh,
kind of
dude, I
a
wanna hear that, man. That sounds,
right.
I definitely wanna hear that. I got a buddy that gets seizures, and he said the alcohol brought it on. Like, the doctor's like, he can only have a few drinks, and he says that's like a trigger for it. I don't know if that's for everybody, but he was pretty bummed about that.
I bet I get that it could cancel the meds and stuff, but I'm a raging alcoholic, and
Yeah.
like the 6 years I went without, I've probably only not drank maybe 8 days in those 6 years.
Right. Yeah. I
I'm
love alcohol too, man. That's how I know we're gonna get along now, man.
it's an issue, yeah.
Yeah, man. I remember of all the interviews I've done, I remember like the only time I drank too much before an interview was for Doc Coyle from Bad Wolf. So it's so hard for me to watch that interview, man. I mean, it starts off
Oh
we're just
no.
laughing the whole time.
Did you shoot that one later at night or something?
Yes, yeah, and I had 2 or 3 that day. So I mean, 2 or 3 interviews that day, and he was the last
Oh,
one.
right on. Well, that's fine.
Um,
Whatever.
hey, so you're gonna do like some more, like you're doing more songs. You still think about doing like a solo thing, maybe down the road, or just
Well,
keep it
that's kind of
Taproot?
what that's to be continued. I'm not sure because that's why I called it Scissors. Because that was my hockey nickname growing up because my initials are SSR. So it's like, hey, Scissors, whatever. But then I
Oh
spelled
yeah.
it. Sorry. Um, Now I make a joke just because I'm a fucking asshole, but this whole pronoun thing, I apologize to everyone because technically over 10 years ago I considered myself a sci-fi lesbian.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Not
That's why I
anymore though.
spelled it that. No, I still do. I still love vagina. So yes,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
identify as a lesbian and I happen to like sci-fi stuff. So no, I'm a lesbian. I like vagina. So
Oh, good for you, man. That's right on.
so I apologize for the whole thing. I don't know where it went. Just, like,
You ever think about writing a book like Jared did, I guess? He wrote a book. You should write a book, man. That'd be awesome. Was it something you're
I've thought
interested in?
about it. I am, but I wouldn't really know how to like because I have a positive outlook on stuff, but if I wrote a book, it would probably freak people out because it would be more like a journal of me to finally release all the stuff that I've seen and been through, which, obviously I can't be anywhere near the bottom of the barrel, but I've seen way more things than a lot of people have and had a lot more things that ever have, like growing up
Right.
and stuff. Like Jared's book is so inspirational and positive, and mine would just be like a journal of dumping shit and like making people like, oh God, he shouldn't. He should probably drink a lot more and try to take too
Dude,
many pills.
we were talking about Nikki Sixx, and he wrote a book like some diaries or something like that, man. So didn't he? I think he wrote some kind of book. It's
Uh,
pretty wild.
That's another. I haven't read Jared's book except for the parts that we were. I can't stand reading. Like I told you, the school stuff sucked, and doing like no,
Dude, I
I just.
was yeah, I'm sorry. I
Oh no,
interrupted
you're
you,
good.
man.
I just have a hard time. Like I have a hard time retaining like what I'm reading. It's all just like words. Like
Right. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not like, oh, okay, that character did this. I'm like, the character walked.
Yeah.
Wait, what did I just read? I'm like, nah, I can't
Dude, I'm the
comprehend.
same, man. We need Audible. I was like, "Why Jared need to have Audible?" That's what I love. I listen to Audible books, you know?
Right? Hell yeah. Well,
I was like, "When's the Audible version coming out?" You know?
that's a great idea. He should do that.
Bobby Brown from, back in the day, he read his book on Audible, and it was so funny because he was reading it like he was I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's almost like he's having a hard time reading his own book because he was just like, "There I was," you know?
Right? For sure. That would be kind of weird too, having to hear your voice back. But yeah, reading like I wrote that. Wow, I'm stupid. Can I change this on the fly?
So is there any more touring going on for Taproot, for Scissors, or you guys just doing shows,
Still
random?
just doing the weekend warrior stuff. Like right
Yeah.
now, it sucks because I can't, since I can't drive, I don't have any income. And like, it's like, oh crap. Cause I quit my job of 8 years just to start doing some random shows. And right now, we're not doing anything till June 28th. But then we're doing 2 shows, a big festival. But then all of July and half of August, I'm going to have to try to find a job until we play a couple more shows.
Yeah, dude, that's so stressful, I bet, especially
Yeah.
with the family and everything.
It is, yeah, and yeah, we'll figure it out.
Right. Yeah, you should do, like, Cameo or something or, like, do some I've seen those pop up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be.
Never heard of those.
That's the. I'd never do that. I'd do that for free. No, I mean I'll go on Instagram Live, and I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You guys did a show I saw with Heartsick, man. I'm friends with Alfonso. That was cool that he played, that part, on Favorite Song or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, he's coming. We've probably done like out of the last 22 or 23 shows. He's probably played like 15 of them, and yeah, he's come out and helped every time except for when Elias is there. So yeah, no, he does it great, and those guys are sick. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they're with Tom now too, I think.
Are they for real? That's cool.
Yeah, no, Alfie's amazing.
Yeah, dude. The band's so underrated too, man. They've got to blow up, man. They're awesome.
Oh yeah.
But dude, I appreciate being on the show. This is so cool, man. Finally got you on here, man. Is there anything else you wanna add or talk about?
Uh, I mean, not really. I just honestly appreciate the attention whatsoever. And if you haven't checked out the new record Scissors, please do. I'm happy. It took me forever to do, and it was written a long time ago. So a lot of people were just like, huh, this isn't very young. I wrote that 12 years ago. Come on. Imagine if it came out 12 years ago, how groundbreaking it might have been. Maybe not, but
I still think it's great, man. Yeah, I
yeah.
encourage everybody to check it out, man. I gotta get the rest of your guys on the show, man. I'd love to have Jared or Phil, any of those guys, man. All the guys.
Oh, they'd be down for sure. I'll just let them know.
Yeah, dude.
No, yeah.
Do like a series, man. Every member.
Right on. Oh, you should get Taylor on for sure too, because
Oh yeah, Taylor. Yeah,
because he'd promote the hell out. Fuck that guy. He'd only promote his new band.
yeah.
It is a good band though. Riding with Killers, if you want to check
Riding
them
with
out.
Killers.
Yeah.
Definitely check that out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's
Appreciate
awesome,
it.
man.
Alexa, play Taproot.